Hi there, welcome to this devotion. The other day I was shaving and my 2-year-old grandson brings a stool up to the basin and I thought he came to inspect my handiwork. My face was full of shaving foam and the piping hot water was streaming out of the tap, and I just knew he was coming and he was going to stick his hand into the water. So I look at the little guy and I point to the water and I tell him, be careful, it's hot. So as I watch, he puts his tip of his one finger into the water and pulls it out, looks at me to say, yep, it's hot. And then he leans forward and he starts blowing the water to try and cool it down. Needless to say, I almost cut myself as I was laughing at him. And right there is my prayer for God's grace in our lives. In Proverbs 30, verses 7 to 9, and it goes something like this. God, I'm asking you for two things before I die. Don't refuse me. And I just want to pause there. And there's this ancient translation of this portion that says, take not grace from me before I die. And it just reminds me that us asking for answered prayers, or us asking God for prayers, like an expression of love and humility. And God answering our prayer is grace. But I don't want to go down that road. The proverb goes on with these two requests. And the first is that God will keep falsehood and lies from me. And it sounds like a lead me not into temptation sort of thing. But the second request is interesting. The second request is that, or for God's will, the second request is, give me enough food to live on, neither too much nor too little. If I'm too full, I might get independent and say, God, who needs God? But if I'm too poor, I might steal and dishonor the name of my God. And that is so profound, because I realize that God's grace is just right for me. I look around me and I see Christians that are way richer than I am, and I can't help but wonder if I would still be worshipping my God if I were that rich. I wonder just how arrogant I would be if I were that rich. And I admire rich Christians. And at times, I must be honest, there's this pang, this deep pang within me to be rich. And I just know, if I think a little further, that if I were that rich, I would probably wallow in pleasure and luxury. I'm reminded to thank God that I'm not that rich. But then I watch poor Christians worshipping God, and I realize that I would be I would be open to dishonesty, and thank God that I'm not that poor. I don't know about your situation in life. I don't know if you humbly turn to God when you want. I don't know if you gratefully turn to God when you get. But I do pray this for you, that the love of God will keep you from extremes. Enough poverty to keep you humble, and enough riches to keep you grateful. So may the love of God ensure that the blessings you get are purpose made for you and you alone. Till we meet again, God bless.